whispering in the trees. It's two cities and they're only...
Greg, a number of things going on around the area, and one of those is that you have been doing a lot of talking about human trafficking.
Right.
It's we actually I had somebody on the morning show about a month ago, or maybe about 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about human trafficking and all of the statistics and all of the anecdotes that the woman was telling us about were catching our listeners by surprise. Like, that doesn't really go on in Indiana.
Well, and it, to be honest, it came as a surprise to not only me, but attorneys general have all pledged when we got together the last time that we would each try to do what we can to raise public awareness to this and to see what we can do in our own home states. So most of the attorneys general have gone home and have started in on this, and I think each of us recognized that we were surprised at the extent of the problem. And if you think about it, Jim, the prostitutes that we have for years always looked at as criminals, law enforcement, prosecutors, judges, the criminal justice system, they've always viewed prostitutes as criminals. Once you really start looking into the reality of it, these massage parlors, the women don't speak English. They've been brought here by others. They don't have their immigration papers. They're essentially subject to the whims and the pressures of the people that are making money off the prostitution. And it really came as a shock to me, but most of the attorneys general all admitted that we all collectively had no idea just how bad the problem was.
Now, we're talking about Senate Bill 4.
That's right.
Obviously, it's not moving right now because of the right to work issues, which we'll talk about in a moment. But the evidently it was assigned to the Senate committee and passed 9-0 in January. What does this bill say?
Well, what happened was when I came back from the meeting of the attorneys general, we looked through the statutes in Indiana and realized that there was a problem where we couldn't pursue the traffickers without the ability to prove essentially physical force. So it required proof that was really never going to be that easy to come up with for prosecutors. So to correct that and bring it in line with the federal statute and most of the newly enacted statutes around the country, they're going to just take out that provision and add a willful and intentional. So they've got provisions that really help the prosecutors make the case against not the prostitutes, not the, let's call them the pimps, but the people behind the industry. So it's the ones who transport these young women under 16 years old. So, I mean, we're really talking about children, but they prostitute them in cities throughout the country. And we expect quite a few to be coming to Super Bowl if it's anything like the last two Super Bowls.
All right, let's talk about that right there. I mean, obviously, you know, if the right to work thing were to go on, you weren't able to get this statute before the Super Bowl, but let's just say that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So the headline number that was coming our way is that there were 10,000 prostitutes that descended on Miami when they had the Super Bowl. Are you expecting something like that in Indianapolis?
They're hard numbers to really come up with, so we're trying to get the word out that we pride ourselves on Hoosier hospitality, but that's not part of who we're welcoming to our capital city. So we're hoping that we, let's say, get the word out that we're not going to be welcoming that, and we're going to be aggressively pursuing the people that traffic in these young women. So hopefully we won't see the barrage of this, but frankly we have to be prepared for all the good things that come to the city as well as the bad things that have come in the past few Super Bowls.
So the word is going to be out there that you have a statute that not only would allow you to arrest the actual prostitute, but it would also make it a little bit easier for you to go after the strong arm folks behind that. Is that basically what it is?
Part of the training now is we've got the law enforcement who are starting to recognize that the prostitutes are essentially good witnesses against the traffickers. So if you treat them as criminals, you've really lost your best witness. And for the most part, they're really not volunteers. This is not out of the movie Pretty Woman. I mean, this is not somebody who comes here to make a living as a prostitute. These are runaways, or they're people that have been transported into the United States and are here illegally. Sometimes their families are essentially held hostage. So they're not volunteers by any sort. And the fact that they're under the age of 16 should make it an A felony. So we're going to really be aggressive about this is not going to go on in our
With Lee from
state.
Hammond. Lee, you're on with Attorney General Greg Zoeller.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Attorney General. You're talking about the human trafficking. I got to think that this is a result of us not enforcing our immigration laws. You got a lot of people that try to hit you with a guilt trip that if we enforce our immigration laws that we're being insensitive to minorities and that kind of thing. But if we don't enforce our immigration laws, this is exactly the kind of thing that you're opening the door for. Isn't that true?
Well, there are some problems with people that are trafficked from other countries, but the one thing that was most shocking to me and other attorneys general that have been focusing on this is that the majority, and I'd say it's over 50%, are actually runaway teens that these people pick up from truck stops and places where you find runaways trying to get in out of the cold, and they essentially take them into almost like slavery. So they hold out any help that they could otherwise get and turn them into prostitutes. So these are young children from other states. So it's not, when they say human trafficking, it's not just moving across lines of U.S. borders,
well,
but
not
also
only
the
that,
states.
you've got these are being set up from Asia, and a lot of these, like just as you said, a lot of these women are not legal aliens in this country. Since a lot of them don't even speak English, but these networks are set up because they see that we've got the environment in this country is more or less giving them a wink and a nod toward them setting up these kind of networks within the United States.
All right, thanks a lot, Lee.
Sure.
He's got people care.
No, it should be, and I think the more attention that people pay, and they'll see that most of the prostitutes are not really volunteers. So regardless of how we've always thought of them as the criminal, in a lot of cases, the prostitutes are actually victims.